In a small village bustling in the vibrant landscapes of Nigeria lived the twin sisters Nia and Imani. From the moment they were born, it was evident that they were as different as night and day. Nia, with her warm smile and gentle attitude, admired herself to everyone she met. Her kindness knew no bounds, and her willingness to help others made her a beloved figure in the village. Whether it was lending a hand with chores or offering words of comfort, Nia's presence was like a ray of sunshine on even the cloudiest of days. In contrast, Imani possessed a darkness within her that seemed to overshadow her every action. Consumed by envy and bitterness, she harbored ill intentions toward her sister, resenting the admiration and affection that Nia effortlessly gained from their community. Adebo, Nia's first cousin, found himself drawn to her irresistible charm and genuine kindness. Their bond ran deep, forged not only by familial ties but also by a shared understanding and mutual respect. Adebo admired Nia for her unwavering determination and the grace with which she faced life's challenges. His fondness for her only seemed to grow with each passing day, as he found solace and love in her presence. However, Imani's feelings toward Adebo were far from respect. Consumed by envy at the affection Adebo showed towards her sister, Imani's jealousy festered like poison within her. Adebo proposed to Nia, and with the willingness of Nia's parents, they accepted the proposal. That day Nia and Adebo were so happy. The one who was not happy was Imani. The marriage date was fixed and the marriage preparations started to begin. The midday sun beat down on the bustling village square. Laughter mingled with the rhythmic pounding of pestles in mortars as women prepared afternoon meals. Amidst it all, Nia, the vision in sapphire silk, stood poised and radiant, her smile as warm as the African sun. Today was her wedding day. Her twin sister, Imani, stood beside her, a perfect reflection, the same lithe figure and cascading ebony hair, but with a darkness lacking in her eyes. Imani, consumed by a festering jealousy, harbored her desires for Adebo. The ceremony was steeped in tradition. Drums pulsed, women ululated, and the air thrummed with joyous anticipation. As Nia was getting ready for the ceremony, Imani offered her a drink with a mysterious smile, its sweetness masking its sinister intent. Nia, unsuspecting, gulped it down. She was unaware of what was coming toward her beautiful life. The wedding vows were exchanged, Adebo's eyes sparkling with love that only Nia could evoke. But a mysterious change swept over Nia during the celebrations. Finally, the marriage ritual reached its end. Meanwhile, a shadow loomed over the festivities in the form of Imani's burning acrimony. Unable to bear the sight of her sister finding happiness while she languished in bitterness, Imani's anger reached a boiling point. She left the home with a note. According to the note, she was going to the city to live with her friend and would not attend the further marriage ceremonies of her sister Nia. This discovery made Nia and her parents sad, but they could not do anything for Imani as they were aware of her stubbornness. Nia consoled her parents and asked them to give Imani some space. They left the situation on time and continued the marriage ceremony. On the first night as husband and wife, Adebo, blinded by his happiness, fails to notice Nia's mysterious behavior. Although Nia showed love and admiration toward Adebo, however, he sensed something disturbing. But he was so happy to find his love of life that he ignored his doubts. The night passed and the next morning arrived. They both were very happy. The time seemed to fly and Adebo started to notice an unusual change in the behavior of Nia. She started to be lost somewhere. It seems like something is disturbing her. Sometimes, she wakes up screaming, drenched in sweat, clutching at shadows. Days turned into weeks, and Nia's condition worsened. She'd become withdrawn, neglecting her duties, her eyes filled with a haunting fear and guilt. Adebo disclosed the situation to Nia's parents. Their worried frowns deepened with each passing day. They consulted local healers, concocting herbal remedies that seemed to have no effect. Fear lingered in their hearts. Had a vengeful spirit cursed their daughter? Desperation drove them to the revered Baba Aind, a spiritual master who lived in a secluded part of the forest. Adebo, along with Nia's parents, reached out to that spiritual master and told him the condition of his wife. Baba Aind listened intently, his eyes reflecting ancient wisdom. When he came to see Nia, she was sitting in a dreadful situation. There were dark circles under her eyes and her face was pale. It looked like she hadn't slept for nights. Baba Aind tried to ask her questions, but she remained silent. He stood before her, a figure weathered by the passage of time, his voice carrying the weight of wisdom accumulated over the years. With a solemn gaze, he told Adebo and Nia's parents that there was guilt inside Nia. His words measured and deliberate, as he spoke of the darkness that lingered within her. Adebo was unable to understand that, as he was not aware of a dark secret Nia was hiding from him. That night Adebo and Nia's parents sat around her and gently asked her what was troubling her. They were eager to know the reason for the guilt Nia was facing. She finally admitted her sin. She was not Nia, she was Imani. The revelation shattered what little peace remained in the family. As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, the truth became horrifyingly clear. Nia wasn't possessed. She was a victim of Imani's twisted jealousy. On the marriage day, when Imani offered Nia a drink, it contained drugs in it. Right after drinking it, Nia fell asleep. Imani, with the help of one of her friends, put Nia into a van and sent her to an unknown place. Imani changed the dress and wore the bridal dress and took the place of Nia. She did this to live the life she dreamed of. She did not know the consequences of this evil act at that time. Imani kept Nia in an abandoned house where her friend gave a daily dose of drugs to Nia. After a few weeks, Nia got addicted to the drugs and lost her senses. At that time Imani sent her to a mental hospital. Imani was very satisfied that she had succeeded in getting rid of Nia. But she was not aware that this sin would ruin her peace and happiness. Adebo, who was listening to this story, did not believe in his ears. For such a long period, he was not aware that she was Imani, not Nia. His heart, filled with a mixture of anger and fire, rushed to the mental asylum where Nia was being held according to Imani. Nia's mental condition was appalling, mirroring the state of her once vibrant mind. But in her hollow eyes, the spark of recognition flickered when she saw Adebo. His touch, gentle and loving, was an anchor in the storm she'd been weathering. As soon as she saw Adebo, painful tears emerged in her eyes. Adebo hugged Nia and consoled her that he would do anything for her recovery. Her parents were also grateful to see her. Days turned into months and Nia moved toward the path of recovery. She started to talk and respond to Adebo's love and care. The road to recovery was long and arduous for Nia. With Adebo's unwavering love, her parents' unwavering support, and intensive therapy, she slowly clawed her way back to reality. The joy on her face when she finally walked out of the asylum, blinking in the sunlight, was a balm to everyone's wounded soul. Adebo, unable to forgive Imani, knew his marriage was a sham. He filed for divorce, but the court, considering Imani's mental state, deemed her unfit to stand trial for her crime. They sent her to the same asylum where Nia had been held. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The woman who had stolen Nia's life now found herself in the same desolate place. After a few days, Adebo got married to Nia. He was dreaming of spending the life he once wished. Nia was grateful for the efforts of Adebo. She gave him a lot of respect and love. They were the example of a perfect couple in the town. A year later, a new melody filled the air, the joyous cries of a baby girl, Adebo, and Nia's firstborn. The village erupted in celebration. Nia, her eyes filled with a newfound strength, held her daughter close. Forgiveness, though a difficult path, bloomed within her. She began visiting Imani in the asylum. Nia's visits to the asylum were an emotional tightrope walk. Imani, a husk of her former self, would sit huddled in a corner, her eyes vacant. Yet, a flicker of recognition would sometimes spark in their depths when Nia entered. Nia would sit patiently, talking in a soft voice, sharing stories of their childhood, of the village, of the life Imani had forfeited. Meanwhile, Adebo struggled with his demons. He loved Nia fiercely, but the memory of Imani's betrayal cast a long shadow. He was worried that forgiving Imani would be a betrayal of Nia's suffering. Nia sensed his turmoil and, one evening, as their daughter cooed in her crib, she spoke. Adebo, she began, her voice soft, forgiveness isn't for Imani. It's for us. To let go of the anger that consumes us. Imani has paid a heavy price for her actions. Don't let her win by taking away your peace. Adebo looked at Nia, his wife, his life partner, a woman who had emerged from the darkness stronger and more compassionate. He saw the truth in her words. Forgiveness wasn't condoning Imani's actions. It was releasing himself from the burden of anger. The next time they visited the asylum, Adebo joined Nia. He spoke to Imani not with accusation, but with a quiet sadness. He spoke of the life they could have had together, as a relative, as a family. A single tear traced a path down Imani's cheek. It was the first time she had acknowledged him since her breakdown. Life does not stop for anyone. It teaches the lesson to both good and evil. Nia was spending a peaceful life with his beloved husband and her daughter. On the other hand, Imani was getting punishments for her evil sins. They were optimistic for a better future and a happy family. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate the time you spare to watch our videos. It gives us support and strength to bring more stories for you.